In this video, I'm going to walk you through creating your own custom homeschool curriculum for free. Yes, there are a lot of pre-made curriculums out there, but most lesson plans are one size fits all. Your child is unique and so is your homeschool style, and your lesson plan should reflect that. Follow this simple step-by-step guide to create the homeschool curriculum of your dreams. Step 1. You'll want to go to the Department of Education website for your state to look up the state standards by grade level and subject for your child. There are 4 core subjects that you'll want to focus on: English Language Arts, or ELA, Science, Social Studies, and Math. You'll print off lists of all of the standards, and sometimes they'll have a little code next to them, which is what teachers use when they are doing their lesson plans to make sure that they're meeting all of the state standards. You'll also want to find various workbooks that are grade level appropriate for your child for the subjects that you want to work on. So you can check out books from the library. They let you, at least my library has a variety of teachers' workbooks that you can copy worksheets out of, or you could go to Barnes & Noble or order from Usborne, Scholastic. There's a ton of resources out there. You can also use teacherspayteachers.com, and they have a lot of free resources. If you can just hit free, there's a little box for like price range. There's a ton of worksheets on there for free. I'm not against worksheets. I know a lot of homeschoolers are. I think that they are a great starting point for when you're introducing a new concept or starting a new lesson. So here's an example of a worksheet that my son and I actually did today. It's on compound words. So I'm not against worksheets. I think they're a great starting point to start getting that conversation rolling. We were able to give some examples of what a compound word is, have a little activity with some handwriting practice, a little coloring, which is always fun. And then we brainstormed some additional words on the back and had a great conversation based strictly on the worksheet. It doesn't have to be perfect. They're not turning it in for a grade, but they are great lesson plan starters. Now you're going to want to purchase a simple teacher's planner or a bullet journal. Start thinking about projects you want to do, books you want to read, look up book lists for subjects and grade levels, and start plugging in the subjects with projects you'd like to do. Then you're going to want to head over to your standards and start highlighting which of the standards these are going to satisfy. If you need to add something to the projects or check out a special book from the library, you'll want to plug that in to your planner. So when we're doing a worksheet like this, I might just write down that we're going to work on compound words. Then I know that I have a worksheet and I put a little post-it note on it that says compound words on it in our ELA drawer, which I will show you in a minute. And I'll also show you that this is where if I found a reading list or a book list from, I really like the Read Aloud Revival blog. They have some really great book lists. I just kind of start plugging them in there so I know to request those books from the library that week. So I have this cart that I have separated by school subject. And then inside of them, I keep any manipulatives or experiment materials that we need, books that we're going to be reading, and then of course worksheets. So let's look inside. Let's see, math. So you pull out math, and I see here, okay, here are some worksheets on addition to 20. They're there, so I know any day that we're working on addition to 20. If I don't have something else to do, this is in here. It's a great starting point. So I also keep a number line in there and some little like manipulatives, some fake money, some textbooks, anything, measuring tape, anything that I think we'll need is in there. So that's where I store our worksheets. I also use my planner as a place to write down ideas I have that I found either on Facebook, in a book from a friend, or on every homeschooler's favorite website, Pinterest. So for example here, under science, I have some experiment ideas of like, oh, don't forget I'm gonna need to buy rubber bands for this, or straws. We're gonna make some straw instruments. Just easy ways to write things in. So I knew that I was gonna be working on vibration and sound this week because I plugged it in when I planned. It's one of those standards that I need to meet. So then as I find things, I'm plugging them in as I find them. And this is just a very rough idea of when we're going to do things and how we're going to do them. Sometimes don't get to things, and if we don't, I don't highlight it. So I know at the end of the week, anything that I highlighted, we've completed, we can move on from it. If I didn't highlight it, we either didn't get to it or I didn't feel like I was confident in where we were at with it. So we can just go to the next week and plug it in and move things around. So I just continue to highlight as I add things into the planner and plan them out as they make sense to us. Sometimes your standards will give you book lists, so I just scheduled all the books we hadn't read yet, and if we've already read them, I just highlighted them because we already did that in the previous year. I am only planning until December, but you do what works for your family. I like to break it up half of the way through so that I can take a break and reassess once we get to December, and then make changes as needed for next year. So that's why you're seeing things that are not highlighted yet, because that's stuff I'm planning on doing between January and June. I also use my planner to write in any appointments we have, so we know if something's gonna change that day, maybe we need to lighten the workload. Then most workbooks that you buy that are for teachers or homeschoolers have an index in the back that are going to have everything listed here. So if there's something that is in your state standards that you cannot think, how am I going to teach this? I know nothing about that, or I can't find anything about it. You can look through here and find them. So if you need to teach your child about economics, and you're like, how am I going to teach a first grader economics? Well, they're telling you every page that's going to tell you concepts and activities for your economics or worksheets. Okay, to summarize, first you're going to look up your state standards. Then you're going to buy a planner and a cart or some other way to organize your materials by subject. Then I want you to take your planner and plug in all of the worksheets, books, and activities that you plan on doing. Then the last step is just to highlight on that standard sheet to make sure that you are accomplishing each of them. It's that easy.